On today's Tech Help for Churches, adding your podcast into the Google Play Music Store. Hi, and welcome again to another episode of Tech Help for Churches. This is the show where every week I help you with new media, social media, the internet, etc. for your church. My name is Paul Allen Clifford. I'm your host, and I'd love for you to join the conversation, leave your comments, etc. So just do that below the video. Now, if you're listening to the audio podcast, which is a great way to consume this information because you don't need your eyes to hear what I'm saying, then by all means go over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/THFC, short for Tech Help for Churches, and leave your comment under one of those shows. That's a good way to do it as well. So, Google for years and years has basically ignored podcasting. There was a brief foray into doing podcasting a while back, but then that was fairly quickly abandoned as compared to Apple, who, I guess because it had the term pod in it and originally everyone thought you needed an iPod to do it, it's been a part of the iTunes Music Store for over 10 years. So this is a new development, and I thought that we'd go over kind of the basics of how to do that. First, what you're going to want to do is go to play.google.com/music/podcasts/publish ? U equals £0, and that will give you a dialog where you can go ahead and add a podcast. Once you add a podcast, you'll have to agree to the terms and conditions. Everyone has to do it. You should read all the words in there. Most people don't, but you should. So that's the next step that I would take. Following that, you're going to be taken to a 3-step process. It's actually pretty simple to do. First, enter your feed URL. So this is the web address that has the actual feed, not the iTunes feed, the actual feed that you submitted to iTunes or what have you. This is, I've likened it to a grocery list before. It's also kind of like the frequency for your television station or a radio station. This is what your listeners and viewers will have, that if it changes, you lose them. So you should be able to find that. If you're using PowerPress by Blueberry, it should be fairly simple to do, and I'll do a show upcoming all about using PowerPress, and we can talk about that detail a little bit later there. Now, one thing you should know is this feed needs to have a few things. First off, it needs to have a title. That's a specific tag that will have the title of the show, so that's important. And you'll either need the iTunes author tag, which Google can read, or the Google Play author tag. Basically, they're exactly the same thing. It's just one says iTunes, the other says Google Play. Doesn't matter which you have. Probably you have iTunes. You may have Google Play. If it has both, it'll use Google Play, I'm sure. And you also need the iTunes email or the Google Play email field, and that's going to come into play in the next step. That's where you verify ownership. So it will look at the email address and say, hey, is this your email address? And if it is not, you'll have to change that in your feed. Or, if it's an admin, talk to the admin. Because what you're going to want to do is click the button that says verify ownership. They will send you an email, and then you will copy and paste a code that they send you and paste it into this page. Once you paste that in, you'll click verify, and then it'll take you to the next page where you can look at all your recent shows. You need to have at least one for this to work, by the way. So don't try and launch before you have a single episode. You need at least one episode. More is probably fine. I found that I was able to go through my, let's see here, 10 podcasts. I've got, maybe it's 11. I've got one for all the audio shows, one for all the video shows, Tech Help for Churches audio, Tech Help for Churches video, ChurchTechCast.com Q&A audio, ChurchTechCast.com Q&A video, Technobabble audio, Technobabble video, and the ChurchTechCast.com screencast show. I was able to go through all those pretty quickly until I got to the every single video show feed, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So I hit publish on all the other ones. I was done, clicked back on all podcasts, added another podcast, repeated the process. Now, the all video show had some errors, and if you have errors of this sort, it won't let you publish. So just pay attention to this. I had a problem where the cover art wasn't showing, maybe one of the descriptions wasn't showing, something like that. So I have to go back and clean up that one. Happily, that's the last one I did, so I wanted to get this out before I spent too much time troubleshooting and nailing that down. But I think that this could potentially be really a valuable thing if Google starts indexing podcasts along with the rest of the stuff. Now, as I'm recording this, this is the last week in November. Just had Thanksgiving here in the States, and this hasn't launched officially yet. That's okay, because all my podcasts are still pending, so I'm okay with that, but they plan on launching it fairly soon. So I think I would want to get on this earlier rather than later, so that when it launches, my stuff is in there, so that all the people with Android, they're probably going to have an easier time finding stuff now that it's there. And as we know, Android is one of the two 800-pound gorillas in the mobile space, iOS being the other one. Well, iOS has had the podcasting app and iTunes for quite some time now. Now Google's getting involved, so we could easily see podcast numbers double, triple, etc. Or it could be that you won't know anything at all. Depends on how they roll it out. So I hope that helped you. I hope that now you can add your podcasts to the Google Play Store, and you'll be able to get more people to tune in, and you can change more lives and eternities. If you like this content, you'd like my email newsletter, so head on over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/gifts, GIFTS, pick up your free church tech gift along with a free subscription to my email newsletter, and head over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/store, where you can pick up some of the church tech goodies that I've made just for you to help you do this ministry in your church. Until next time, this is Paul Allen Clifford with TrinityDigitalMedia.com. Go out and change eternity.